Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so there's something I'm going to talk about today, which I think a lot of you are probably aware of. And that's about being vulnerable. So years ago, I'm going to guess it was about 12 years ago, maybe more, I had a client, flew out from the Midwest, and he was taking my dating relationship course, Cracked Female Code for Men. And about the third day, I think it was, an issue came up. In fact, it turned out that was the actual reason he took the course. Now, he never mentioned this before in the phone sessions we did, or when he was talking about my book before he flew out. He didn't mention it the day he showed up. It was just kind of like in the middle of doing all this training, he brings up this subject. And he said, I want to be more vulnerable. And I was kind of, I was lost. I was confused, to be honest with you. Because I didn't see him as not being vulnerable, and it was kind of, I was like, I don't think I understand, and I think I even said, I don't think I understand like what you're saying. What do you mean? So he really didn't know how to describe or explain what it was that he wanted, and I was like, okay, so what is this thing that you're talking about? Like, what does this mean to you? So now as we move forward in time, because I've never had anyone even say that to me. I think I heard it in the movies once in a while, but it was kind of far and few between. I believe, at least in my experience over the last 6-7 years, the increase in people not being vulnerable and closing up emotionally and hiding their emotions and protecting their emotions, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think that's something that empaths need to learn how to do. The problem with empaths, I would say people, is you're either closed or you're open, versus like it's like a door. You can close it when you want, you can open it when you want, and that's the healthy, appropriate way to go through life. The challenge is we are coming from a world, the old world, where the belief is left brain, it's an either or process. It's either A or B. There's no other options or possibility, which is why I emphasize, hey, we need to start opening up to the right brain. Now, I had someone say, so you think everything needs, this happened very recently, I think it was 2 nights ago, so you think everything needs to be right brain? Like, no, I never said that. I said open up to the right brain, inclusive. It's and both, not either or. It's either A or it's B. I'm saying both. Now, this is just a part of our society. I remember my kickboxing coach's wife one day, it was out of the blue, I was at the gym. She just walked up to me one day. She goes, you know what your problem is, Mikey? I'm like, no, what's that? She goes, you need to choose. I'm like, choose what? What are you talking about? She goes, you either need to be a fighter or a lover. You can't be both. And I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of walked away, kind of confused, like, wait, what was she talking about? I really didn't get it, because I was such an open person. For a lot of people, that was a real problem. Even today, a lot of people have a real problem with people like me that are both. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to relate to it. It's like, look, man, you're either left or you're right. Like, what's going on here? Like who are you? So empaths tend to be all the way open, because, well, I'm a loving person, and loving means to only be open all the time and loving all the time. No, that doesn't mean that. Then you have the opposite. We'll call them narcissists, or just people that are logical. They're like, well, I'm intellectual, I'm logical. You can't be both. Why not? So what happens is you get people who are getting hurt emotionally all the time because they're open to people while that person's hurting them. It's like, no, if someone hurts you, boom, close the door so you can protect your emotions. That's smart, and that is healthy. And then you get people that at the time I couldn't even relate to when they would say, I want to be vulnerable. I'm like, what do you mean? I was so vulnerable at the time that when someone would say I want to be vulnerable, I'm like, what are you talking about? You want to be vulnerable? Like what? Like I honest to God, I couldn't understand the concept. So these are the people in the world that are very alone. They're with people, they have a job, they work at a big corporation, they're surrounded by people, interacting with people, yet they're completely alone emotionally because they're not open. So this belief that you have to be either vulnerable or not vulnerable all the time, it's just not true. And it's not healthy. And there's a full range. You could be a business person in the corporate world, or hey, you're not supposed to be open at the office, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Because that's what the left brain is for. The left brain is the business brain, the science brain, the math brain. And then when you get home with your wife and your children, that's the time to open up, because the right brain is the relationship brain. It is the social brain. It is the love brain. And there's a full spectrum or range of deciding how and how much you want to be open. It doesn't mean like you have to be 50-50 all the time. It could be, hey, like, no, I'm closed 90% of the time. I'm open 10% of the time with people that I choose to be open with at specific times that I choose to be open with. Or 80-20 or 75-25 or 50-50, like whatever works in your world. Because this is where we're going in life. It's not about the majority anymore. It's about you being who you are or who you want to be, living the way you want to live, as long as you're not hurting other people. That's it. Live your life. I think one of the challenges that people have with me is it's not okay. So a lot of people think, well, you're either a loving person or you're a powerful person. And I'm coming along saying, no, you're both. You can be an extremely loving person coming from a very, very powerfully grounded place. This makes people feel safe while they're around you. Now, learning how to do that is what I teach in my internal awareness course, my emotional grounding course. So I do one-on-one coaching for that. In the men's course, Cracked Female Code, we're going to work on this every single day. You're going to learn a new technique, probably 2 or 3 techniques every day as we move through the day. This is something that will make you feel very, very good. You will feel more comfortable than you've ever felt in your entire life, probably since you're a little child. So if I could give one lesson right now, being vulnerable doesn't mean you have to be vulnerable all the time to all people, not even to your spouse or partner. You don't have to be vulnerable every second of the moment that you're with them. There's going to be times when, hey, they're not in a good mood or something's going on, when you close up and you come from that space, okay? So there's times, the real key, here's the real key. Learning how to do it, learning how to be open, learning how to ground yourself emotionally, and then also learning how to close. Now that was one of the hardest things that I had to learn in life. How do I close up? Now I've got it down just like that, and I go through life, boom, I close up, I'm around certain toxic people, no problem. I do what I have to do, I buy my groceries, or I deal with these people on a certain level at a certain time. I minimize it, of course. I walk away and I open back up. These are relationship skills. And believe it or not, you know how I said the left brain is the math, business, science brain, and the right brain is the social brain, the relationship brain, the brain of love and emotions? Well, guess what? Business meetings are social events. This is when you're supposed to be in your social brain. But a lot of men are stuck in their logical brain, and they can't figure out why they're not making the connections with people. They're not moving ahead in the corporate world. It's because there's a time to be corporate. There's a time to be social. Whenever you go to a business party, trust me, you're supposed to be in your social brain. This is how you connect with people. You don't connect with people when you have the door closed. You know how some people just learn things really fast? They just go to class, they pick it. It's like they just absorb the information, the knowledge. There's a reason why. It's because they're open. When you're closed, it's like learning through a little tiny straw. You can get very limited information, but when you learn how to open up, you literally receive a massive amounts of information that downloads into your system easily and effortlessly. When you do it through the narrow linear straw technique way, it's very, very hard to process. All that information is trying to jam through the straw, and it causes the system to kind of back up and to not function correctly. So you learn a lot better in class or anywhere when you open up. And these are the people when they go to these business social events that connect with people. They learn, they understand what someone's saying. And this is a key thing. When you're going to a business meeting or event, you need to learn to open up so you can receive someone's information, because if you can't, that upsets people on an emotional level. It pisses them off. And they're like, well, screw this guy. Shift. This is part 2. This is the shift the world's going through. This literally is a black or white way of explaining it, because I'm breaking it down to the very bare bones, the simplicity of it all. When you're in your linear system, by the way, this is what Jesus meant when he said, "Get behind thee, Satan." So these are two opposing arrows. So they come together and they are closed. This is conflict. This is when you're looking down the narrowness. The pupils are tiny, they come together, and you can only see down a narrow band. Like you have blinders on the left eye and the right eye, so you can't see to the right or the left. You can only see what's directly right in front of you. Ladies, this is why men use the words like get to the point, directly, focus, because now you're focused like you're looking at a target and you're only narrow vision in front of you. You can't see what's around you peripherally or feel or hear what's around you peripherally. All your systems get tuned into what's right in front of you, like you're looking, hearing, and feeling down a narrow tube. So this is when you have the door closed, okay? You literally close off your neurology from your emotional system, which is the expansive, wide open peripheral system, the social system. This is the relaxed system. This is when you feel comfortable. When you're in the logical left brain, this is when you are tight neurologically, which tightens up your muscles physically, which makes you feel uptight. Guess where anxiety, panic, and fear exist? That's right, in the closed system. So people who walk around this, they oppose everyone. And here's the deal. When you're in this system and you're really strong at it, you suck other people into this system. It causes them to close up, and now you both begin to argue. So have you ever been one of those people? You probably are, since you're on this channel. If you've subscribed, you're probably a more open person. And you've got really confused walking around the world going, all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're getting sucked into these arguments. You're like, but I'm not an argumentative person. Why does this keep happening when I'm with this person or that person? Because they're sucking you into their world. Okay, so many, many years ago, and I'm talking probably 22 years ago, I was going to this gym here in San Rafael on 4th Street, the main street. It is no longer there anymore. And I remember I was walking out of the gym. I was fired up. I just bench pressed the most I'd benched in probably 5 years. And I was like getting in really good shape. I walk out of the front doors. I turn to the right. And this other guy comes around the corner. And he's always really pissed. Like really pissed. Now, the one thing that I learned was don't do energy drinks or coffee, because they lock you into this closed system, right? So I stopped doing that because I didn't like to feel that way. I like to feel open. And I noticed my power was much better when I had an open system, because see, when you're open, your blood, your veins are relaxed, and your arteries, therefore more blood can get into your muscles, and therefore you're stronger. See, love really is power. This isn't just some really nice, sweet thing to say. Love is powerful. The limited way, which is what we're talking about now, the closed system, is not powerful at all. And these people are really frustrated in life because it restricts the blood flow to the higher regions of the brain, which is the higher intelligence of the brain. I mean, the physical right brain, your left and right brain. It lowers you down to the limited mind. When you open up an artery, okay, when your body relaxes, all the arteries open up, and there's one in the lower reptilian brain. When that artery opens up, it allows blood to flow up into the larger human brain, the left and the right brain, and it turns them both on at the same time. Now you are at full power, full capacity. 80+% of the people in the world, they call it the rat race. They're living in the rat race because that artery is narrow and they're functioning off of their reptilian brain. They're just instinctual creatures. They're just robots. They're just programs. The lower reptilian brain is literally the instinctual brain. These are just programs. And people that are in this part of the brain or the far left, they feel stuck. They're like, I can't figure anything out. Right brain people are very, very solution oriented, because you're open to all the possibilities. It's like all the stars in the universe, all the grains of sand on the beaches and the oceans and the lakes. That's how many options and possibilities there are in life. And here's the really cool thing. You can begin to just see more and more options, so you get to pick from these options. And you can also create more options that'll work for you. That's the right brain at power. Or I should say, that's the power of the right brain. So when I say love is powerful, I don't mean, oh, it's just a nice thing to say. I literally mean you tap into your power. This is what my internal awareness course does for you. It changes your life. So what I want you to imagine is, imagine on the left one, there's a person inside that arrow looking the other way. This is when you're in your logical left brain, your pupils are narrow, and they come together slightly, a millimeter or so, and it begins to narrow your vision, which begins to narrow your neurology inside your brain, which limits your connection to your higher intelligence, meaning you're not connected to it. Now you are limited all the way down to either or. There's only two options. There's either A or B, and you have to choose one. You're not even allowed to have both of those. Whereas right brain people are open to all the options and all the possibilities of the world. These are the people that tend to figure stuff out. You're like, oh, I'm not very good at figuring stuff out, and it's because you're in the limited mind. Years ago, we used to hear about the limited mind and personal development. No one ever broke it down. What the hell does that mean? It means you're in the far, far left part of your brain, which limits everything down to A or B, and you have to choose one. And then whatever you choose, that's good, and therefore the other one must be bad because it's not you. Have you ever heard of racism? Now you know where it comes from. See, when you wake up, you start seeing people for who they are. Good, bad, right, wrong, up, down, left, right, in, out. You just see them for the full colors of who they are. And from that space, sure, you could judge them. And I tell a lot of people that are empaths, hey, you need to see the bad in people too. Because empaths only see the good in everybody all the time, even though they're stabbing you with a knife. You need to see the times when they've stabbed you in the back, when they've stabbed you with a knife, and be like, okay, and then make your decision from there, from both the good and the bad, and then you make a decision whether you want to be around this person or not. Okay, now I'm going to get to the good stuff in a few more minutes. Just hold on. So let me share the story with you. This is actually part of the turning it into the good stuff. Okay, have you ever been to one of those business trainings where they take you out to the park or to the forest, and you spend a day or maybe a couple days there, and you learn techniques on how to trust each other? It's called trust something, I forget what it's called, but you basically do techniques that kind of make you vulnerable, and you begin to learn to trust your fellow employees and your coworkers. Now, one of the exercises is you pair up with someone, and you stand facing each other, and you put your palms up, okay, up above your head, and you touch each other's palms, left and right palm, and you push on each other. Then what you do is you begin to take one step back, then another, and you begin to do this triangle teepee kind of thing, and you're leaning on each other, but now your feet are way back, and because you're supporting each other, which is the whole point of the trust lesson, is you can both stand there vulnerable, yet at the same time very powerful. See, one thing they learn is in business, if you can't trust each other, it's really hard to have a functional business, okay? Now look at this right here. Those are two hands, two palms, and they're going to push on each other. And now because of that, you can be more powerful together. This is how energy works. Now let's say you're the other way pushing. Okay, let me bring that back. Hold on. So this form of energy, so imagine one person's on the left side looking to the right, and on the right one, someone's on the inside looking to the left. This is conflict energy. This causes conflict. So if you're in an office full of people that are very logical and in their conflict mode all the time, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a lot of conflict. So if you want conflict resolution in your office, hire me. I will come in there and I will teach all of your employees how to open up and allow the energy, intelligence, and information to flow freely from one to the other. It is a much more enjoyable office environment versus like this one. See, this is the right or wrong. You're either right or you're wrong, and if you don't think the way I think, then you're wrong and we must punish you. And this is the way this system thinks. It causes conflict everywhere you go. This is the brain that says, if you don't see it my way, you must be wrong, because it's either A or B. It can't be both. And obviously, if I think this is right, then well, you must be wrong. Guess what? There's more possibilities than that. You both could be right. And together, you could make things a lot better. See, the goal of life is to learn how to make things to work together, to be all-inclusive, to look for the options and the possibilities. See, you're either looking for who to punish, who's wrong, or you're looking for solutions. And this form of thinking is not solution-oriented. Now, people who think like this, the left brain is about rules, structure, and organization. There is a place for it. That's supposed to be the foundation. That is not supposed to be the function. Understanding, cooperation, getting along, seeing things from each other's perspective so we can learn more, not less. Did this guy Mike Kollin say he's a dating and relationship coach? This applies to relationships across the board. Okay, now watch this. This is really interesting. Okay, so I was at a gym and I was just really got, bench press. I was really happy. So I walk out the front doors, I take a right, and this other guy that does energy drinks all the time, who argues with everybody all the time, he's always pissed off. He comes around the corner, takes a left. Now he's directly facing me, and he's in this one mode right here, and he sucked me into it too. So now I felt my forehead get tight. I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna argue. So I was like, wait a minute, just do the internal awareness technique, expand wide open. And I had a feeling he's literally gonna fall forward a little bit and open wide open. So what I did was I did what Jesus said and did the get behind thee, Satan thing, which is here. Now I'm wide open. I opened up to him to receive him. When he was pushing on me because I wasn't giving resistant energy, he fell into my energy and he opened up too. And he caught him. He literally, his foot fell forward. He kind of stomped his foot. Look, whoa! And here's what he did. He stood upright, because before he'd always walk around like leaning his head forward all around, locking on with people. And he stepped forward and he stood upright and he expanded his awareness. And he looked at me and I smiled and he smiled back. He was kind of shocked, like, wait, what? Hey man, how you doing? He's all, I'm doing good, man. How you doing? It's like, oh man, I had a great day at the gym, blah blah blah, bench press this. He goes, oh, that's good. I go, hey man, have a good day, man. He goes, oh, okay. And you could see this look on his face because he always was angry towards me and pretty much everyone else. And it was kind of this confused look of, why am I smiling? I did the Jedi Master technique, you shall let us pass. If you ever take a training with me, especially if it's a multi-day training, you will see me do this to people all the time. You're going to see people just suddenly just like open up and you're like, wait, what was that? Let me tell you this. We affect each other energetically, emotionally, and physically. And you do it on an unconscious level. And here's the challenge. If you're not getting what you want in life, it's because you're doing something in the wrong way that you're not even conscious of. I guarantee you, if you're not getting what you want in life, you're not doing this right here. You're not open. You're not receiving. These are the techniques that I teach you how to do. Now listen really closely to what I just said. These are the techniques that I teach you how to do. How many rules have I taught you so far in this video? 0. This is what Jesus was trying to tell people. Rules are never going to help you get along. Opening up, turning the V around to the back of your brain and opening wide open in front to receive one another, to have options and possibilities of how can we help each other, how can we learn from each other, how can we receive from each other, what are other options and possibilities, what can we create to make our lives better together. This is the way a relationship's supposed to be. Any and every kind of relationship. Dating, relationships, friendships, co-workers, businesses. This is how you function. This is how you move forward. This is how you grow. These are the people who get ahead in life. You ever wonder why does this group of people just seem to just march forward in life? Because they're working with each other, not against each other. Now here's the deal. How many rules have I given you? How many strategies have I given you? 0. Nothing. All I'm going to do is teach you how to open up, and all of that comes natural. You'll understand, okay, well, let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. Okay, let's make an adjustment here. It becomes obvious because once you open up, you can see it. See, this is why you go to Tony Robbins seminars and you read these books on business and finance and investment and marketing and you can't get anywhere, and you're like, I can't get ahead in life. I don't understand. Like, I've read all the books, I've been to all the seminars, I've got my master's degree in business science and blah 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 blah. Because you're closed. You can't see how the pieces fit together when you're closed. You have to open up. When clients take my 6-day course, the Craft Female Code course, they will call me back invariably and say, Mike, you're not going to believe this, but all the techniques that you taught me, I'm applying it to the business meetings now. I'm applying it to my customers on the phone. I'm applying it to my sale. I'm like, yeah, all of this applies to any form of relationship, business, sales, personal, marriage, dating, etc., or otherwise. It applies to all forms of relationships. You're either closed or you're open. If you don't learn how to open, you are not going to function well in society. The right brain is the social, i.e. society brain. If you're going through life thinking, well, these are the rules. I'm like, according to who? What country? If you live in another country, well, you go by different rules. What happens when you're doing business from someone who's from a different part of the United States? Well, I'm from Southern California. Well, I'm from the Bay Area. You get these people in conflict simply because, well, we're different up here than you. And neither one of you opens up to each other, and therefore it causes conflict. So guess which one the narcissist is in? Which one do you think is the taker? Yep, this one. This one creates conflict, the other one creates openness. Not only does this one create conflict, it looks for conflict. It literally, I guess the word would be, it literally creates conflict where there is no conflict. Sound familiar when you're dealing with a narcissist? Because this is how they function. When Jesus said, get behind thee, Satan, he literally meant turn the V around and open up. This is how you have a relationship. See, you could be in a relationship with someone, and see, I'm not saying that rules are not a part of a relationship or values or beliefs. The problem is most people, you were just born into a family, into a culture. Like, okay, I come from Napa Valley. I come from a very specific culture, a very specific way of living. Some of my friends are like robots. They live exactly the way they were raised. None of them have ever thought, I don't really like that belief. I don't really like treating people this way. So a lot of people, I thought you were from California. I'm like, yeah, I'm from Napa, California. Here's the funny thing. Napa Valley is known worldwide. Most people will be like, oh, you're from Napa. There's this automatic respect thing. And it's like, what is this? A friend of mine, so when I moved away, I was we were at a party, and he noticed how every time I'd say, they're like, well, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Napa Valley. And they were like, oh, okay. And like, he goes, people literally stand upright when you say that. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, keep telling people that's where you're from. Because Napa Valley has a personality, and here's what it is, and I'm not actually too proud of it. In a way I am, though, because being an empath, if I would have taken this on, I wouldn't have gotten as damaged as much. Okay, I'm going to say the B word because it's literally something we say to people when they are rude to us and disrespect our culture. I almost said country. If people come to Napa Valley, you're going to notice we're very snooty. We're very stuck up. And that's something I've never liked. So a lot of people are like, you don't seem like you're from that area. You're not like that. You're more down to earth. Well, yeah, because I'm open. I'm grounded. But if you disrespect someone, see, here's the deal. Here's the rule. In Napa Valley, we will treat you beyond. We will treat you like royalty. We will cater, and this is the culture. We will cater to you. We will show you our wines. We will pull out the chairs. We will open the doors. We will treat you so good. It makes you feel like a princess or a prince or a king or a queen. You feel good about yourself, and that's one part of the culture I absolutely love beyond. It is so amazing the way they treat people there. It's like a dream. It's like Disneyland, except there's no like fairy rides or spinning things. It's just you walk into a store, you get treated really good. You go in another place, you get treated really good. You just feel good. You feel like you're walking on clouds, like you're in heaven. That is a very good description of Napa Valley. And a lot of people, that's the experience that they receive. The whole valley, even the beauty of the valley, there's just something heavenly about it. I promise you, if you ever go up valley from the city of Napa, you're going to be like, man, this is one of the most beautiful places in the world. I promise you. But every now and then you get a person who's insecure, they're on a lower level, they don't feel good about themselves, so they'll disrespect someone in Napa who's treating them very, very well. We'll bite our tongues once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then, you know what happens? I'm from Napa, bitch. Then you see the closed side, and you're not going to like it. I promise you, you're going to be shocked at how powerful it is. You're going to be like, holy shit. Don't mess around in Napa. Be a good person. Respect people, and I promise you, it'll be much, much greater than going to Disneyland. I promise you. But there is an equal and opposite side to it. See, people that are emotional are very powerful in both ways. If you've gone online, Facebook and YouTube, you'll see these shorts where they say, hey, don't mess with people that are very loving because they have an equal and opposite side that's just as powerful, and you don't want to see it. Majority of people that go to Napa Valley, they have a great time because the service is it's a service oriented area. It's the way, literally, it's the way that we're raised. Catering is part of the culture. Even if you've never worked for a catering service in your life, or if you've never worked at a winery, it's part of the culture. It's the way we treat people. So if you come in with disrespect, we're like, well, wait, we've been treating you really well. What's going on here? Like, why are you doing this? And part of that culture is like, okay, let's figure out, like, well, so what are we doing wrong here? What can we do to make your life better? What can we do to make your day happier? Could I give you a glass of free wine? Do you need a little more butter? What do you need? How can I help you? And if you still return it with disrespect, you're not going to like it. Now let's wrap this up with one more thought on this subject. So here I am, this extremely wide open, vulnerable person, pretty much most of the time with most people, especially if I like you on any level at all. Okay, I know you guys have heard about empaths and narcissist abuse and all that stuff. A lot of people that are negative, toxic, or let's say traumatized, emotionally damaged, narcissist or whatever, they tend to be attracted to people like you who are wide open. Because your energy, it feels really, really good. Now here's kind of the really odd thing. If you've noticed, especially in the last 5+ years, people either like you or they don't. It's kind of a black or white thing. Here's the funny thing. The reason why they like you is the same reason they don't like you. It's because you have such good energy. They love to be around you. They love to feel that way. Now watch this. So a lot of you, if you are really emotionally open people, you notice a lot of people will just kind of fade out of your life. You're like, well, what's going on? What did I do wrong? You actually didn't do anything wrong. Now, I've heard this for a long time. I didn't really quite understand it. I would say I had about 90%, but there was something still like, I don't understand. Like, well, why did they leave? Like, everything was going so good. Here's why. Some people are really good people, but they've been hurt so much that they are terrified of opening up. And the funny thing is, it's when you open up is when you don't get hurt. See, when you're closed in that closed system, those arrows that I keep talking about, that's when you can throw, like Bruce Lee says, don't be like a wall or like a brick wall, because you can hurt a brick wall. You can throw a rock at it and it'll hit it. He said, be like fog, because if someone throws a rock at fog, it just goes through it. It does no damage. It doesn't hurt you. So when you learn how to be open emotionally and be emotionally grounded, there's no spark of electricity that happens. There's no explosion. Like when you connect a computer or a light into the socket, you plug it in. If there is a jolt of electricity that goes through the system, it'll spark it and it'll damage it. It'll hurt it. But if you have a grounding wire, no, the electricity just goes down into the earth and it flows. There's no jolt. So here I am. Okay. This is what finally helped me to really understand what it means to be vulnerable. Is I didn't quite realize that I was the one that was wide open and vulnerable all the time, because it doesn't feel vulnerable. To me, the definition of vulnerable is like, oh, you're weak, you're going to get hurt. No, the definition is being wide open. The word vulnerable, I think, has a misdefinition to it. I remember the first time I really learned how to ground myself, it was in Hawaii. and I was really grounded. I came home after a 5-week training, because every day you do breathing techniques and grounding techniques, okay? And I came home and I was hanging out with my friends, and they all noticed, like, there's something different about you. I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't really know what it was, but I remember feeling really good. And I remember this one moment, a friend tried to get me to close up, and when I didn't, he got pissed off and he walked away. I'm like, what's he so mad about? I'm like, oh, normally I would fall for that and I would close back down. I'd be insecure, and now I'm just wide open and he can't control me from here. And here's the thing, he was doing some hurtful things, but I almost didn't even notice. I remember looking at him like, why is he being so mean? But it didn't hurt at all. And then eventually, after about a week, or not a week, about a month or two, I started to close back up, and then people started hurting me again. See, people can't hurt you when you're wide open. They can only hurt you when you close up. It's a really weird trick. Okay, you guys know Ben, of the guy I trained in the past. I've shown some videos. Well, he was a younger guy, probably 26 or 28, something like that. And he came over one day. Now, he'd gotten really good at being emotionally grounded and feeling comfortable in life and just going to work and just enjoying life, and life is great. And he came over one day, completely closed down. I'm like, hey, like, why aren't you doing your grounding techniques? He goes, because I'm afraid if I go over there, it's going to hurt. I'm like, how do you feel right now? He goes, I've got a lot of anxiety, Mike. And now he was closed down. So I said, how do you feel right now? He goes, well, I've got anxiety. I'm kind of like, like I've got like fear. I'm like, are you open or closed right now? He goes, well, I'm closed. I'm like, why? He goes, well, I'm trying to protect my emotions. I go, so you're in the closed system? He goes, yeah. I go, well, how do you feel? He goes, I feel anxiety. I go, exactly. If you open up, it'll go away. See, it's an illusion. Fear closes the door. Closing the door also causes and creates fear and anxiety and panic. Have you ever heard of the phrase, fear is an illusion? It really, really is. Because when you learn how to open up, all of a sudden the fear disappears. And that's what we did with the Benev. We did some breathing techniques. We did some grounding techniques until he popped open to his right brain. And also he's like, wow. He goes, I thought this is where the fear was. I'm like, no, fear is on the closed system. When you open up, there is no fear over here because your energy can flow. That was a huge learning lesson for him. And I admit, it is kind of tricky because you think, well, if I close, I'm going to be protected. No, you're not. That's when you're vulnerable. When you open wide open, you're completely aware of your environment. You're aware of people's intentions. And here's the thing. This is where you tune into your intuition. This is where you can feel and know people's intentions. You can hear it in their words. You can hear it in their tone, their vibration. It's way more protective when you're wide open. Because you're aware of what's good and what's bad. In the other system, you're closed off and you're oblivious. You're completely blind, not only visually, but auditorily and kinesthetically. You go into the narrow system, which means you have blinders on all systems, and therefore you have no awareness, and that's why you're living in fear. And that puts you in a defensive mode, which causes you to argue and fight with everyone because you're afraid. So now let's get back to the final dilemma of being an open, empathic kind of person. So a lot of people have been hurt. They've been traumatized and they're protecting their emotions, thinking, well, if I close up, therefore I'll feel safe, which causes them to overthink, which is the closed system. And that's what causes anxiety and fear and panic. And they get delusional. Here's the kind of odd backwards thing. The very reason why these people are attracted to you is because you're so open. It's because your energy feels so calming. It's so grounding. It's so comfortable. The very reason they're attracted to you is the very reason that they're going to leave you, is because here's what happens. I'm going to use me as an example, probably help better. So here's the funny thing. So I was dating someone who was an avoidant. I didn't know it at the time. And the funny thing was, the very thing that they were most terrified was who I am. Being open, being what they would call being vulnerable. The funny thing is, I don't see me as being vulnerable. I see me as being an extremely powerful person. And people will tell me, like, yeah, there's something about you. It's different, but you're a very powerful person. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm wide open. And that's the very thing that they're terrified. It's not that they're terrified of me as a person. They love me. They love my energy. They love being around me. The challenge is they're terrified of being open because they have the illusion, the false understanding, like a Benev had, like, well, I'm afraid to open up. I'm like, Benev, you've been open. How did it feel? He's like, well, it felt very comfortable. I'm like, so how do you feel right now when you're closed? He goes, I don't like it. I'm panicking. I'm in this anxiety. I'm like, yeah, so open up. So what happened was this person, when they got around me, they loved the feeling of being open. They loved to be around it. But then what happened eventually, they went home one day and they closed up and like, what was I thinking? Oh my God, I was so vulnerable around that person. Oh, no. And it's like their worst nightmare. But it's really not. It's the very thing that they want. And it's the very thing that will actually make them actually more safe in the world. See, when you're blind, you're going through life with blinders on, you can't see, hear, or feel, or smell, or taste the danger that's around you. But when you're wide open, you can see it from a mile away. And on an instinctual level, their reptilian brain, they're like, oh, they can see me, and then they walk away. Trust me, being wide open is a lot safer. So a lot of you are empaths thinking, but Mike, I thought you said we are wide open. Oh, you are wide open. Here's the problem. When you see danger, you lie to yourself. This is the problem with empaths, because I know I'm one of them. I used to tell myself, oh, well, they didn't really mean that. Oh, they probably had a bad day at work. Oh, well, I'm probably just seeing it in the wrong way. See, you lie to yourself. You're open, and then when you see what you see, you lie to yourself and be like, oh, they probably didn't mean it. Oh, they're just having a bad. You lie to yourself. You make up excuses for their bad behavior, their bad treatment of you, and on and on. And this is you lying to yourself. See what you see. Hear what you hear. Feel what you feel. Be honest with yourself about the experiences that you're having. And that is one of the challenges of life. It's a good challenge. Learn how to develop from it and be aware. And then don't lie about what you're aware of. This is awareness. This is intuition. This is called being emotionally connected. Be honest with yourself. This is what I see. This is what I hear. This is what I feel. And don't let anyone gaslight you. This is the challenge. Once you can see clearly, hear clearly, and feel clearly, life becomes better. This is intuition. Intuition is just going, whoa, my body is, suddenly my gut tightened up and I got a panic in my gut. What is this? It started when I started talking to this person. Okay, I need to start paying attention to what's going on around me. What is this person? Let me look at their face. Let me look at their, oh, they got that narrow look in their eye. Oh, I see. They're about to hurt me. Walk away. Be open to your own systems and then follow them. The problem with avoidance and narcissists is they don't listen to their systems. They completely shut down and disconnect from them, and they overthink everything, and that's what causes all the problems. Just see what you see. That's it. Hear what you hear. Feel what you feel. That's it. And don't change it. Don't lie to yourself about it. Don't think, well, let me think of it. No. See it for the way it is. Trust me, you're going to get along a lot better in life, and damn, does it simplify everything. That's why people are like, God, you seem so peaceful, so calm. Yeah, it's because I don't overcomplicate things anymore. I'm just in the moment. That's it. Hey, God bless you guys. I hope you got this far in the video, and I hope you see how this can help you and change your life. If you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, click the like button, go and make a comment. And as always, you can go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. You can also buy one of my dating relationship books that will also help support this channel. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.